Okay guys, I do apologise, we just had a bit of technical difficulties from my end, so we do luckily just got in just in time for the race to start. So it's Scott Fenton from Chris Cleaver, followed by Andy White from Ben Smith, and of course Terence, and of course Jack, and of course Graham, and Doug Idle, and of course Dan. So yes, we are back live and exclusive on the Eldar Sim YouTube channel. It'll be interesting as Andy White tries to make a move into, I believe that is into Stoke Corner, alongside Silver Carter there. So yes, as I say, I do apologise, we did have issues from my end, which wasn't technically an issue, but luckily we are back up and running. So hopefully if you like what you're seeing here guys, let's see what happens within the race. So you got Scott Fenton so far out in the lead, followed by Andy White, even though it's not updated on screen yet. Then you got Silver Carter, and then obviously Ben Smith. Then you got Terence, and of course JWE had a bit of a tangle, which we missed the start of that. But then you've got Doug Idle, and of course Graham there, and of course Dan rounding up the fields. So we'll see what goes on. Hopefully we'll try and get some battles galore if we can, but at the moment we got Silver Carter trying to chase down Andy White for second place. At the moment Ben Smith in the Ferrari is still up there in fourth place. So Scott Fenton in the green and grey Audi R8, which you can currently hear firing his way to start another lap of the 50-minute race. We'll try and go, the pit lane is now open, which is the message from race control. You've got Terence in fifth place, followed by Doug, and followed by Graham, and of course Jack, and of course Dan. So I believe Terence there at the moment is still in fifth place, but you've got this battle between Silver Carter and of course Ben Smith in the Ferrari and Mercedes respectively, and obviously Andy White in the Aston Martin just up the road, just ever so slightly. So as Doug Idle there tries to make a move on Graham, if the camera angle would sort it out, would know what's happening. But I believe Graham has got past Doug Idle. Jack's also on the tail, and so is Dan. So it's probably going to be a four-way battle as it is in the for up the field. But at the moment, Doug is in seventh place, followed by Jack in eighth, and obviously Dan in ninth. But Jack's going to try and make a move, I believe, on Doug. Let's see. As we see, Graham and of course Doug Idle have a bit of contact there, but we've got, I believe Doug just he's calculated his braking, and with it being a wet surface, just held off as Graham goes off a bit there. And the Aston Martin is really struggling at the moment. So you've got Jack and Dan obviously in potentially, I believe, doing sixth, and now Chris Cleaver has actually got past Ben Smith there for third place. We didn't see that because we were just concentrating on what was going on further back. But you've got, I believe, Jack and of course Jack and Dan there. I think Graham now has sadly retired from the race. He's struggled a bit there. So Silver Carter chasing after Andy White there for second place. So he's got Scott Fenton still out in the lead. You've got Silver Carter trying to chase after Andy White. Then you've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari fourth. Then you've got Terence, followed by Jack, followed by Dan, and of course Doug rounding up the fields. But this is the ASR Idle, or Idle Gaming, Idle for Gaming, as Andy White is under threat from Silver Carter going into Maggots and Beckett's, as Chris Cleaver makes the move there, which is a fantastic move with 45 minutes remaining in this race. Scott Fenton now is still leading the race from Chris Cleaver from Andy White, but Andy White will fight back to try and take that position. I believe Andy White hasn't got his wiper on at the moment, so that may be a bit of a distraction with a bit of rain on his windscreen, but who knows, we'll see. We've got Ben Smith in for place in that Ferrari. So we've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari, followed by Terence and of course Jack in the two McLarens. I believe Dan is also up there, but he's not close enough as of yet. And then you got Doug Idle in 8th place at the moment. But so far you got Andy White not giving up on not giving up on Chris Cleaver there. So it's going to be interesting and very exciting to see what happens with this battle here. So we're going in towards the Wellington Straight. Andy White without his wiper on his Aston Martin. Neither does he have his lights on, but you know, each has their own, drivers have their own preferences. Scott Fenton in the LDR rate has got a 6.5 second gap from Silver Carter in the Mercedes, but you can hear that LDR rate as he downshifts into Lovefield, and obviously it will be fantastic. But you've got Andy White chasing down Chris Cleaver at the moment. You've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari. We'll just go back to this battle at the moment between the two McLarens, between Jack and of course Terence, as Jack makes the move going into Woodcote, but Terence closes the door, runs a bit wide there. As you've got JWE, you've got Jack trying to fight back there as Jack nearly goes into pit lane as he loses control, but he's actually pulled it together. So you got Dan and of course Doug Idle rounding up the field. So we'll go back to this battle between Andy White and of course Chris Cleaver at the moment, and Ben Smith is gaining on Andy White in that beautiful red Ferrari. So what will happen in this race? We've got 42.5 minutes remaining. The weather is still wet, it's still damp, and I bet it's miserable out there for these guys in these cars. Obviously racecraft in the wet requires a different setup. So you got Andy White there still trying to chase down Chris Cleaver, but we'll see what's happening. So you got Terence still out in 5th place, ahead of Jack and ahead of Dan, and obviously of course Doug Idle. But it's going to be fantastic to see him. I do feel sorry for Doug, but hopefully he'll bring up positions when the guys start making pit stops. But at the moment Andy White from of course trying to chase down Chris Cleaver, but you've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari also going to be lurking in the Aston Martin's rear view mirror. It will be fantastic. But we will see what happens. But I believe Andy White there is still trying to chase down Chris Cleaver. You got Terence and Jack still battling, but Jack's lost a bit of ground there from of course Terence. So this is going to be fantastic as Terence runs wide down the Wellington Straight, which is going to allow Jack to be a bit more bit closer now, but we'll see about that. So yeah, we'll go back to this battle between Chris Cleaver and Andy White there. Ben Smith's dropped back a bit from this battle. He's about 3 and 2/10 from Andy White at the moment. But this is going to be fantastic. Hopefully, you know, so far Scott Fenton up the road in that LDR race has a 7.4 gap with 40.5 minutes remaining of the race. So far the conditions are ideal, but at the moment we'll see what's happening further back. Have we got a battle on our hands between Terence and of course Jack at the moment? We'll see. Obviously Jack's trying to push on and trying to push, and obviously trying to push his way up towards Terence with 40 minutes remaining in this race. Pit lane window is open, so we'll expect some kind of pit lane action. Scott Fenton there in that Audi R8, you just get a glimpse of him. He's about 7.5 minutes behind. I don't know, there's yellow flag there, but Scott Fenton at the moment still leading this race. What a good job in the number 8 Audi R8. But this is fantastic to see. But you've got obviously Andy White's now dropped back from Chris Cleaver to 1.1 second. Got Ben Smith, that's 3.4. Silver Carter, his lead. Well, Scott Fenton's lead to Chris Cleaver's 8.1 seconds. You've got Terence still trying to get away from Jack, but Jack's there with 1.1 seconds behind. Dan, who's about 6.1 seconds from, of course, Jack there. And then Doug Idle, unfortunately, is 14.2 behind Dan at the moment. But as I say, this might change when the pits, when they change for tyres and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. You know, it's going to be, as I say, it's interesting. There's not really much battles at the moment, but you've got this battle between obviously Terence and Jack. If it builds up to a battle, which at the moment Jack's still trying to gain. He's lost a bit of ground there, but he's the two McLarens. So you've got the Jenson Button McLaren versus the black and pink McLaren as we go into Copse Corner. And then obviously you've got Andy White and of course Silver Carter still trying to battle, but I believe Silver Carter is obviously 1.7 seconds, or he's now 2.1 seconds from Andy White there, as Ben Smith is 2.8. I don't know why there's a yellow flag. I believe Doug's having a bit of a nightmare this evening. I do feel really sorry for Doug. Hopefully, as I say, he'll pick it back up. But you know, you've got Dan there in 7th place. Then you've got Jack. Jack's now gaining onto the back of Terence. So the two McLarens that are fighting out for 6th and 5th position at the moment. This is going fantastic as we see Jack trying to make a move. Terence closes the door. But this is going to be spectacular stuff as we go on to the GP start finish line, and it will be very interesting indeed. So you've got Dan just in the background, lurking in the background. You've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari. You've got Andy White slowly but surely now catching on to the back of Silver Carter as we join the battle going into Woodcote. This is going to be probably spectacular. Chris Cleaver does not want the Aston Martin in his rear view mirrors, but Andy White there is gaining. He's about 1.2 seconds behind the Mercedes at the moment. Scott Fenton obviously is going to be eking out his advantage, 7.0 seconds. So it's going to be very interesting. Andy White still with no wipers on and still with no lights on there, but trying to chase down Chris Cleaver. We'll join that battle in a moment, but you've got Jack, that's 0.9 seconds from Terence at the moment as we go into Copse Corner. But we'll go back to this battle between Silver Carter and of course Andy White here. So the Aston Martin versus the Mercedes. Scott Fenton is already, I believe he is, if we can get a time update, Scott Fenton is about 7.2 seconds from Silver Carter there. So it's going to be very interesting. So you've got Andy White there still trying to push on to Chris Cleaver in the Mercedes SLS. Obviously Andy White in the Aston Martin still trying to gain onto the back of Chris Cleaver with just coming up to 35 minutes in the race. So we are going to be technically pushing on quite a bit at the moment, but you know it's going to be very interesting. You've got Terence and obviously Jack still battling, or are they? Yes they are, because Jack is even there. Jack is there, but Jack's gone wide. I don't know what's happening to Jack, but seems to have a bit of I don't know whether it's connection or he's just having a bit of lag, which is going to be a bit unfortunate for him, but we'll go back if we can join the battle in a moment. I believe Jack's having a bit of issues with connection, but we'll join this battle between Silver Carter and Andy White just for a little moment. It will be very interesting. But you've got Andy White obviously versus Chris Cleaver there, going into potentially Cop's Corner. We've got obviously Terence and Jack still battling. We'll go back to the battle between Chris Cleaver and of course Andy White very shortly, but you've got 34 minutes remaining. I believe Jack's now going to try and get close on to Terence as we start another lap of the race. This is fantastic. The weather conditions aren't really helping, but I cannot believe what I am seeing. So you've got the 23 versus the 22, so the two McLarens chasing each other down. We'll try and go back to this battle in a minute, because now Silver Carter now has a bit of a gap from Andy White in the Aston Martin. But so far you've got Terence trying to hold off Jack in the other McLaren as Jack makes the move, going out of Maggots and Beckett, which Terence, I don't know whether he gifted him the place, but it looked like it was a bit of a battle there, as Dan's in 13 points, I think it was 13.4. Doug Idle unfortunately is in 8th place at the moment, but we'll give him a bit of stream time, and obviously Dan as well. So you've got Terence now from Jack. Jack's about 0.7 as Terence tries to make the move and tries to make an overtake. Jack's still out there. You've got I believe Ben Smith in the Ferrari. He's still trying to chase after this group. You've got Andy White still in 3rd place, and which is now, I believe, he's 1.7 seconds behind Chris Cleaver going down the Wellington Straight. Scott Fenton at the moment still eking out that margin with, you know, this is fantastic stuff from these guys. I tell you what, this is very interesting. You've got Jack there in 5th place still at the moment, now trying to hunt down Ben Smith in the Ferrari. And you've also got Terence in the other McLaren, and of course Dan. But at the moment it is going to be very interesting. You've got Jack going at great speed and knots down into Woodcote, and Terence will be there to literally let him know he's there at any moment. But at the moment we'll see if there's any more battles galore. You've got Scott Fenton there in the Audi R8 just powering his way through Maggots and Beckett's, going down towards the hangar straight now. So you've got Chris Cleaver. I believe Chris Cleaver is still second. Andy White slowly but surely he is gaining onto the back of him there, but we'll see what happens. Got Ben Smith still in 4th place in that Ferrari, and then of course Jack versus Terence. The two McLarens are still battling. Then you got Dan, and then of course Doug Idle rounding up the field. But at the moment Andy White gets a bit crossed up going onto the Grand Prix bit of the loop. So we've got 31 minutes remaining in this race. So far not everyone's made a pit stop, but we'll see what happens. You've got Silver Carter just slowly eking out that gap. You've got Jack with hot brakes going in towards Abbey. So I believe that's where he was heading. So you got Jack from Terence at the moment, and you've got this battle between Andy White and obviously Chris Cleaver. I'm not too sure whether Chris Cleaver's now eked out that advantage. Yes, he has. He's got 1.8, so it will be interesting to see what happens. As you see Andy White slowly but surely trying to gain onto the back of Chris Cleaver's Mercedes, but at the moment the Aston Martin is no match for the Mercedes. At the moment you've got Scott Fenton in the Audi R8.
The pit is now open.
So pit window is now open for 10 minutes. so that will be interesting to see what happens. So the guys can now pit from now, and they have 10 minutes to make the pit stop. So Scott Fenton at the moment is leading the race, followed by Silver Carter, aka Chris Cleaver, in second place, followed by Andy White, followed by Ben Smith, followed by Jack, and followed by Terence. And you've got Dan in the other, and then you've got Doug Idle rounding up the field in 8th place. So what is happening? I believe there's not many battles galore, so we'll try and see who's done the fastest lap of the race so far, if we can. So at the moment, Scott Fenton's fastest lap, well, I believe, it's a bit unfortunate, can't really see who's done the fastest lap at the moment, but obviously pit lane window is now open, so these guys can make a pit stop. You've got Scott Fenton at the moment just powering his way as Chris Cleaver gets a bit sideways going out of that corner there, but it's going to be fantastic, you know, it's going to be really interesting. Then you've got, I believe, Dan's jumped into pit lane, so it will be interesting to see. Terence and Jack are still almost having a battle, but Jack's got a bit more of a gap now, 4 seconds from Terence in the other McLaren there. So you've got Dan in pit lane, Doug Idle coming round, he's going to jump into pit lane, which I don't blame him, to be fair. Put a fresh bit of boots on and a bit of fuel on board. You've got Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver, and of course Andy White having a bit of well, it was almost a bit of a battle, but you've got Silver Carter, aka Chris Cleaver, coming through the last corner. Is he staying out or is he going into pit lane? No, he's staying out. So you've got Andy White there jumping into pit lane, which will, depending if Ben Smith jumps into pit lane, it will bring Ben Smith up into 3rd place. So the Ferrari at the moment going to be into 3rd place, so that will be very interesting. Scott Fenton is also in pit lane at the moment, so I believe Silver Carter will inherit the lead, followed by Ben Smith in the Ferrari. I believe Jack will be Jack's just coming through the first corner now as he does, and then you've got Terence, so it will be Chris Cleaver from Scott Fenton, followed by Ben Smith, and then obviously Jack, and of course Terence, and then you've got Dan still just still there in 7th. I believe he'll be 6th, depending on how well the other 2 guys do at the moment. But you've got Chris Cleaver still in 1st place from Ben Smith in the Ferrari, and Scott Fenton rejoins in 3rd place at the moment. So the pit lane window is still got 6 minutes 22, and we've got 26 minutes point 15 seconds. So it'll be interesting. Ben Smith at the moment in 2nd place, JWE. Jack is 3rd, Terence is 4th, but as soon as these guys make their pit stop, it will allow Scott Fenton back into the lead of the race. You've got him there powering his way. You've got Andy White, followed by Dan, followed by Doug Idle at the moment. Got Silver Carter, aka Chris Cleaver, at the moment just going into Woodcombe as we speak. He will be diving. Will he dive into pit lane, or will he stay out for another lap? We shall see. So you got Chris Cleaver still out in the lead of the race with 25 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock until the race actually finishes. So it is looking likely we have got a good battle. Ben Smith powering his way out of the field, just going down into the last bit of the corner, trying to chase down Chris Cleaver. You've got Jack, and then you've got Terence. So you've got the 2 McLarens.
We're halfway through, keep it up.
So Terence makes a mistake there, just put the commentators to us. We're halfway through the race. and we've got just under 5 minutes till the pit lane window closes. So Terence dives into the pit lane, which will allow Scott Fenton up into, I believe Jack's also gone into pit lane, so that will allow Scott Fenton back up into third place, as Ben Smith and of course Chris Cleaver are yet to make their pit stops. I believe Andy White there will jump up into fourth place. Then you've got Dan, depending on where he is on circuit. I think Dan will be up into sixth place, but at the moment Silver Carter is about to put another lap. So Scott Fenton will be third at the moment until obviously Ben Smith and of course Chris Cleaver make their pit stop. So we've got 24 minutes of the race remaining and 4 minutes of the pit lane window. So the pit window, it will be closing in 4 minutes time, so we'll see what happens. Scott Fenton thundering his way down into thunders his way with that beautiful V10 Audi R8 engine. So we've got at the moment Ben Smith in the Ferrari trying to hold on at the moment as much as he can. So that Ferrari going down into the Wellington Straight. Scott Fenton is there in third place. Andy White in fourth. Then you've got Jack and Terence there having a bit of battle. They just come out of pit lane. So we'll see what they can do. So we've got 23 minutes remaining, 3 minutes until pit lane window closes. But yes, so you've got Terence followed by Jack. So at the moment Ben Smith now dives into pit lane, and Chris Cleaver stays out for another lap. So we've got, I believe Andy White will come into third place depending if Ben Smith gets out of pit lane in time. But you've got Jack and of course Terence still battling away in the McLarens at the moment, so it will be very interesting. You've got Terence, then you've got Dan and of course Doug Idle. We'll give Doug a bit of time. Doug is obviously in that Mercedes. I believe the wet conditions are hampering him a bit there. And you've got Dan, you've got Terence and Jack still battling, but Jack's trying to gain an advantage. Scott Fenton will be now second. Andy White will now, because Ben Smith's still in pit lane, so Andy White will now become third, and then depending on obviously when Chris Cleaver makes his pit stop, it will probably allow, I believe Ben Smith is now coming out of pit lane, so that will push him up into fourth place. You've got Jack still coming under 5 from Terence, just a little bit, but you've got Scott Fenton. You've got Scott Fenton, the Irishman, potentially second on the road, but he will be race leader after Chris Cleaver makes a pit stop. You've got Ben Smith in fourth place there, so it will be very interesting. You got Andy White, there in potentially third place on the road, but he probably will be second with a minute left till pit lane closes. So we've got 21 minutes of the race to go. Jack and of course Terence, I believe Jack and Terence are still having a bit of a battle, but Terence has dropped back a bit. Yes, he's dropped back a bit from... Oh, Terence has got past Jack. Sorry, it's not updated. So Terence has got past Jack, and then got Dan and of course Doug Idle there. But you've got Chris Cleaver now gone into pit lane. So depending on what will happen, so Chris Cleaver's now into pit lane. Andy White will be in second place once he gets past the pit lane. So you've got Terence and of course Jack, but these two are having a bit of a battle at the moment. So you've got Dan and of course Doug Idle. So yes, Ben Smith will probably be bringing himself into potentially, hopefully.
Pit window is closing now.
So pit lane window is now closed with 20 minutes on the clock of the race left. This is going to be really epic. This could be potentially really close. As we see there, Chris Cleaver has actually made it out of pit lane before Ben Smith gets anywhere near him, so Scott Fenton still inherits the lead from, I believe, so Chris Cleaver is actually in second place. So Scott Fenton there in the lead of the race, followed by because it's not updated, followed by Andy White, and then obviously Ben Smith, and then Terence has got to be careful because he's got Jack all over him there. So Terence and of course Jack are still battling for 5th and 6th place, as we see Jack gets a bit crossed up going out of left field. So the two McLarens are still battling with 19 minutes to go. This is going to be fantastic stuff. I tell you what, this has never failed to amaze me. Doug Idle and Dan are still in 7th and 8th respectively, and then you've got Ben Smith there. But we'll go back to this battle between obviously Jack and of course Terence, if we can. So you've got Terence chasing down, getting chased down by Jack at the moment, so it will be very interesting to see what happens. You've got Silver Carter there still trying to chase down Scott Fenton, but the Irishman is eking out that advantage. Andy White trying to chase after chase down Chris Cleaver, with Terence and Jack still battling, so we'll see what happens with this battle with 18 minutes to go. So you've got Terence and of course Jack trying to chase each other down for that elusive for 5th and 6th place respectively. You've got Ben Smith in 4th up the road in the Ferrari, and then you've got obviously Dan and Doug Idle battling for 8th, 7th and 8th, and obviously it will be very interesting. You've got Jack still trying to chase down Terence in the other McLaren. We'll see if Andy White's trying to gain onto the back of Silver Carter, which at the moment it doesn't look like it, which is a bit unfortunate. You've got Scott Fenton still going down the hanger straight at the moment, so he's eking out that gap there. But you've got Terence and of course Jack still battling away, so it's battles galore between these guys at the moment, but we shall see what happens. But you know, it is going to be very interesting with 16 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the race here at Silverstone in the wet for the Assetto Corsa, brought to you by the Assetto Corsa Competizione, the Eldar Sim Racing, brought to you and proudly sponsored by Idle for Gaming. It will be very interesting to see what goes on with 16 minutes and 12 seconds. You've got Jack trying to chase down obviously Terence. Doug is still there in 8th place at the moment. I feel sorry for Doug. And you've got Silver Carter trying to chase down Scott Fenton. There is Andy White's gone off, which has cost him time in the Aston Martin. I believe he may have... He's finally got his wiper on because it is raining. But obviously, yes, be pretty much exciting. You got Ben Smith in the Ferrari trying to chase them down. You got Terence and Jack still battling with 15.5 minutes remaining in the atrocious pouring conditions at Silverstone. And I tell you this, the track temperature has dropped to 28 and the air temperature is 25. It is going to be a very exciting finish, and we'll see what happens. Scott Fenton at the moment eked out that advantage from Chris Cleaver, so the Audi versus the Mercedes battle is grown by a bit. You've got Andy White there in the Aston Martin. Then you've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari, but you still got the battle between the two McLarens. So you've got Terence and Jack versing each other. This could be very exciting. I can't believe what I'm seeing. But we've got 14 minutes 40 seconds till the checkered flag does drop. But this is going to be spectacular. This will be interesting. And I'll tell you this, for next to nothing, with 14 and a half minutes remaining, this has been put on a good show. You've got Dan, obviously we'll give Dan a bit of airtime, you know, and then you've got obviously Doug. I believe Doug might be feeling a bit, I don't know whether he's feeling peed off, but you know, it could be one of them. But hopefully Doug will pick up and he will be back to his ways as of next week. But you know, fair play to him, never gives up. You've got Terence and Jack still battling, but Terence is eking out that gap. You've got Jack trying to chase him down, but at the moment Jack isn't anywhere near him. So you've got Andy White trying to close up to Silver Carter, but you've got Scott Fenton firing his way out of left field there. So you got Silver Carter there trying to chase down Scott Fenton, followed by Andy White, followed by Ben Smith. But Terence, but what's this, you know, don't worry about Doug Idle. He's a lap down, he's a couple of laps down. But look at this, Terence in the Jensen Button machine, he's got run wide, which has allowed Jack to close the gap. But you've got Jack there, you've got Jack trying to make a move. He's going to try and make a move on Terence this lap, I'm sure he will. He's 1.5 seconds behind, but that gap is now closed down to 7 tenths of a second. This is going to be close between these two. I can't believe with 12 and a half minutes remaining, Jack's now finally caught up to Terence. This is fantastic, trying to make a move into Woodcote. Kick it as Jack spins. He's lost a bit of time now. He's lost a bit of time from Terence, so Terence has now got a lucky escape to the black and pink. McLaren is not going to be hounding. So you got Andy White there in third place. You got Ben Smith in the Ferrari in third. You got Silver Carter at the moment still in second. Scott Fenton, believe it or not, still leading this race with just under 12 minutes to go. Terence now has got a gap from Jack there, so Doug Idle has another lap against him. You got Dan in seventh and obviously Doug in eighth, but I believe Graham had mechanical issues in the Aston Martin. So you got Jack still trying to chase down Terence, which he's not giving up with 11 and a half minutes to go. So this is going to be fantastic. It's one of them, I'll tell you this. What an amazing race this evening. So I'll tell you this now, it will be amazing. At the moment we'll go through obviously who's where. Well, Ben Smith at the moment in the Ferrari holding off to fourth place. You've got Andy White there in third, then you've got Chris Cleaver second, you've got Scott Fenton first place at the moment. But Terence and of course Jack, they're not giving up with this battle. So you've got Terence at the moment trying to hold off Jack for potentially fifth place at the moment, should I say. But we've got near enough 10.5 minutes of the race to go. You know, this battle between Terence and Jack is not going to go to